Hello, hello everyone. We're here now with Miss Luisa Castro, who is school owner of Philippine high school, elementary and high school and senior high school, and they have done co-listing with partners in Israel. So Luisa, can you please tell us what exactly is your co-listed course, how it came about, and why you entered into this? Now, I imagine that this is additional work. No, it could be more convenient to not do this. Why did you do it? So, but maybe how you started first.
Okay, so I'm Luisa. I'm the founder of Learning Links Academy. It's a progressive school in the south of Luzon. We're located in Silang, Cavite. So as Elmer said, we cater to preschool until senior high school. And we've been doing entrepreneurship and leadership for quite some time. And we wanted to find out best practices in the world when it comes to the curriculum and program for leadership and entrepreneurship. And sadly, we haven't really found a lot of them here in the Philippines. So we reached out abroad. Timely, it was pandemic, and we were so limited with face-to-face, yet we would have wanted to, but the virtual classrooms allowed us to connect with schools outside of the Philippines. So I reached out, I searched from Google what would be an entrepreneurship program located in Israel. Why particularly Israel? Because we know that there are a lot of innovations in the world were started by Israelis, right? By the Jews. So I reached out to Galit Zamler. So, and then just wanted, it was really just getting to know what are the entrepreneurship and leadership program. But with our discussion, we reached a point where an idea, this is what happens when you discuss and brainstorm, because you get ideas, you synergize with others. And so we were able to get an idea, develop an idea that why don't we do a virtual hackathon. So it's a Vicathon. We called it, she called it Vicathon. So she'd been running actually this program with other countries such as South Africa and China and Vietnam. So it wasn't just limited to two schools at that time. And I got so excited about it because I think and I believe it was an opportunity for our students, especially, my minimum requirement was just, to get that exposure to ideas outside, so that my students, our students at Learning Links Academy would have that engagement, especially during the pandemic where they were so isolated and I needed connections. So they did find out that there are people outside of this country who are experiencing the same things as they do. So that's basically how it started, Elmer.
So how was the learning experience of your students? No, parang didn't they complain na, Ma'am, it's hard enough to do online learning. Do we have to talk to somebody in some other time zone? And I don't know if they understand my English and their accent could be. How did your students respond to it? And what grade level were they?
Okay, so definitely that happened by the way you described it. Though it wasn't as, as explicitly expressed, but there were a lot of resistance. First, we need to remember that we are catering to junior and senior high school. So definitely they're not used to doing this anymore. We describe this generation as the disengaged generation when it comes to connection. So that's something perhaps outside their comfort zone. Secondly, we have to remember that they were forced to be isolated during the pandemic. So despite there were a lot of struggles when it comes to virtual setup. Ironically, diba, they're into video games, yet they have difficulty showing themselves their confidence level was really low at the time. That if you've noticed, they would turn off their sorry for to say, turn off their video cams, or when they show and they force them to show themselves, they would just show their foreheads. So there was really quite a struggle when it comes to doing this Bickathon. Secondly, I think not secondly, but the point of doing a lot of work. No, we did not do it that way because we thought of our school is, as I mentioned, leadership and entrepreneurship. So we related everything to our curriculum. So we made it our project. So we did not create any more new projects. So it was sort of, we integrated everything around that activity. So we do project-based learning. So it was very important for us to make sure that it's project-based, and all the it's project-based. It's one project where all subjects are brought together to create that one project. So it was not, it was, I think, mindfully and thoughtfully done. But because it is something new, and you're not used to doing it, there is discomfort. Definitely, there was discomfort, but the teachers were there to lead. So, and we were adamant that we will do it because there's a greater purpose for it, and we know that somehow they'll have that skill of communication, of presentation, of critical thinking, in fact. So I would say that all the 21st century skills were put into play during that Bickathon, especially when you are, where you're relating with other people outside who may have different cultures from the Filipino culture.
So what after I understand that there was initial resistance, no? But after the course was over, how did your students, when they look back at the experience, how did they make sense out of it? What did they learn? How did they mature in new ways that otherwise wouldn't have been done if you just did in-house, in-school projects rather than transnational project work within your class?
One thing I think that improved was their belief and the confidence that they can actually present in front of an international audience. In fact, they're going to present this Sunday to a bigger, large-scale international audience because they'll be featured in I forgot what it stands for, but GIFT. So it's a webinar, and it's a pitching of the project since they won the project with the other schools with Israel as partners. So they're going to pitch that. So I think that the confidence of presentation, communication really showed. Leadership, I think we have achieved that because during the process of design thinking, our students were able to lead a group, especially because their advantage is their English speaking compared to the Jews do, but they're more used to their language, Hebrew. So that's that one. But and then the feedback that coming from them. So these are all parang there are things that you observe, right, as teachers that have changed in the course of just doing that for 2 years now, or 3 years. But the feedback itself, right? The teachers and the students told us that they enjoyed the process, that the good thing that they were able to join this one because it was optional. It was optional. This year it was optional because we were limited with 30 slots. Last year we had it the whole school, so we would have wanted it that way. But that they made the decision to participate despite the rigorous curriculum to come up with social project or projects, innovative projects within a week. So, but they were able to, realize what their skills are, and the engagement was there. So, another one is realizing, I think they realized that they can create ideas from nowhere, and you can create ideas in a span of 4 days and make it, create a prototype. So that's something that's, I think, very empowering.
For the teachers, our generation didn't grow up with learning opportunities like this, no? So I imagine even that your teachers at your school, this was foreign to them. It was the first time they were doing it as well, no? What kind of support did your teachers need so that they could wrap their head around this, that a learning experience that even they had not undergone themselves? So it could be as foreign to them as it was to the students.
And just like any other learner, the students, there's really no difference. You have to create those mindsets for one, right? So, and then equip them with the knowledge and the skills. So what we did was, because it's really part of the culture of Learning Links Academy for innovation, to try out various theories and apply these theories in education. So it hasn't been really, it's not something new to us that we would try something different. We always do that for as long as it's aligned to our vision. So we did trainings, a lot of them, and then application of those trainings, which we did first and foremost, project-based learning approach. So we had that training for that. And lengthily, we've been doing that and we've been practicing. So I think knowledge is one, developing the skill is in application. It may be during the workshop, but after the workshop is so important that there is always that kind of feedback. And when they try that in the classroom, and then we give feedback, we meet about it. We really are, engaged, and we just focus on that one during the process of really learning, and so we can assist our teachers. We did design thinking process, so that's the same thing. I asked them to research about what it is, to understand. There are a lot of resources already at the internet, so you can go YouTube and etc. So it's still I think we're still at it. We're still learning the all these things. Right? We don't have a guidebook really, because it's not as multiple intelligence is. It's a theory. It's not something it's not an approach. So you create an approach to those things that you learn, and it will be different from one school or from one company to another. Design thinking is a process, but how you apply it is quite different. So it's I think we're still learning. We're still learning a lot, but I think we have embraced it. That's the most important thing.
So what 3 tips would you give to education leaders out there, the university level, school principals, progressive teachers, if they wanted to expose their students to collaboration like this across schools or across countries? What 3 tips in terms of leading that education innovation in this direction?
3 steps. Wow. These are really
Three
not
tips. 3 tips, yeah.
three tips. Learning from my experience in doing this. One is, and we are pro-vision, right? So it has to be, you have to focus on what your vision is, and see what you need for that to come into fruition, right? It may not happen in your lifetime, but there's a step towards it. So know what you need. And secondly, so that's your why. I think you have to focus on your why. The second is, once you decide as a leadership team, the leadership team has to embrace it. The administration has to embrace it. So be adamant. Do not back down or back off when you meet oppositions, because there will be a lot, resistance will always be there. But since you are the visionary and you see the vision far apart from how they see it, you are the ones given the vision, then you be adamant and go for it, right? So that's my second tip. The third one is make sure that everyone is on board. So we have to have the perspective that not everyone has the same mindset as you have, or perspective or experience. So they require baby steps. So break down those baby steps for them so that they'll be able, and go with them in that journey, di ba? So parang you don't just give that to them and you tell them, okay, bahala na kayo, or it's up to you how you, well, it's up to you how I do that. It's up to you how you will apply that in your classroom, but there are certain parameters or certain steps that you can, and there are best practices that you can benchmark, but you still give them the freedom to apply that in their classrooms or in their courses, because you know, the growth is different. The pace of growth is different from each one. So I think you have to have that kind of perspective that not everyone will be on the same page as you. So you have to pay attention and empathize somehow where they are at in that journey, and be able to guide them and give them the necessary guidance to do that.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Luisa Castro, School Director of Learning Links Academy, one of the more progressive schools in this area of collaboration and leadership and innovation in the basic education. So thanks a lot, Luisa, and good luck on your next iterations of this. We're hoping that more schools will be able to follow your lead.
Thank you so much, Elmer, for this opportunity. And I wish you also the best in what you're doing for collaboration, because definitely we need to learn from others. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good morning. God bless you all.
Okay.